The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Media Mash, where the conversations we're having off the air are better than what we can tell you, but we're still going to give you a quality show because we've got Jean-Jacques Taylor, Ed Werder, we've got Clarence Hill, I'm Newy Scruggs, got Chris in the background shooting bullets at us from high like a good sniper. All right, Agent Zero, it's in effect. You can get your number 0 jersey for the first time ever in the history of the franchise, which started in 1960.
Well, the NFL only started allowing you to wear single digits a few years ago, and I think 0 only became available a couple of years ago. Okay. Agent Zero, this is something DeMarvion Overshown wore at Texas. He basically branded at Texas. Now Texas allows the best defensive player, certainly the best linebacker, to wear Agent Zero or Zero after DeMarvion Overshown. It's something he's wanted to wear. Interestingly enough, we don't know when he's going to be back on the field because he's injured. I understand he may not be back healthy and ready to go and play in the game until November. But the Cowboys are rolling out this campaign, a coordinated media and marketing campaign after a ho-hum offseason. They're rolling out big to-do.
This is the big finish?
Big to-do throughout today. I mean, big to-do on all the social media channels today. Agent Zero giving DeMarvion Overshown the number he's wanted. I talked to him last offseason. And he asked for 0, and he said they told him it wasn't available. It was Rowdy's number. And the Cowboys were stubborn.
So why is it available now?
Cowboys were stubborn about Rowdy.
Rowdy been cut.
Rowdy ain't been cut, but the Cowboys need to give the fans something to feel good about. And again, what has been largely a ho-hum offseason, a ho-hum coaching hire. You haven't really had a lot of difference-making players sign to free agency. Listen, I like Shotty. I know you laughed, but that's not going to sell tickets. And
this is?
I'm not
watching a guy
I'm not selling
injured
tickets
until November.
I'm not
on the
selling
bench
tickets.
wearing number 0 instead of 13 is going to sell tickets?
But it's right on brand. I'm not selling tickets, but we're selling jerseys. And those jerseys are going to fly off the shelves like hotcakes. Fans are already, you look at the Twitter impressions on this, they're excited about buying 0. This will sell for the Cowboys. It's right on brand for the Cowboys.
But this used to be a franchise that talked about championships and Super Bowls. And
used to be don't make no honey.
This is true.
And they ain't made no honey in championships in a long time.
So now we've been
Since you've been on the watch.
Since now we've been
Rowdy
talking about jersey sales. We ain't talking about games. We talk about
jersey sales for a player who's been in the league 2 years and hasn't finished either season, unfortunately, because of ACL injuries.
Yeah.
You say sell like hotcakes.
Oh, they're going to sell like hotcakes.
I like waffles.
Have any of your social media or friends texted you to say, hey, man, let's go?
No, but by Twitter, based on the response I've seen on Twitter and the way fans have talked about this, I think that the Cowboys have a feeling. If you watch the videos, they got them doing the jerseys, they got T-shirts, branded T-shirts, different things. They believe it's going to sell. They wouldn't have marketed and said, whenever anybody in the league done a marketing campaign, social media campaign for a jersey change for a guy who was not a Pro Bowler. I remember when LeBron did and Kobe and whatever else. But tell me a media marketing campaign for a guy who changed jerseys in the offseason who was not at least productive special player. And I'm thinking that the Cowboys certainly have some intel or some feeling or some intuition that this is going to sell. That's why they're doing it.
Hopefully they'll make some picks in the draft in 2 weeks that'll sell more than number 0 jerseys.
Hopefully. But I'm just saying right now, and we're not at the draft yet, this is something that the Cowboy fans can feel good about. And as Overshown feels good about the return again. From what I understand, he won't be back until November, healthy and ready to go. He feels good about that. When he comes back, he's going to be able to be himself. I'm hoping. I don't think the Cowboys would have put all of their machinery behind this in this marketing campaign if they didn't feel good he was going to be on the field.
Well, I mean, he gonna be on the field.
I'm talking about on the field ready to play and to make something, to put some substance behind this marketing campaign. I'm saying whether we know it or not, I'm thinking they have to feel good about that to put their might, and they put their might.
They could have done it this time last year, and he wouldn't have finished the season.
Yeah, but
so
they
don't know.
No, they don't know.
Him
But I'm just saying
physically.
they feel good about the fact that they put their marketing might behind it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, now hopefully he will, but history says he won't. I mean, it's anybody you talk to who's ever had an ACL. It's always the next year, the next season, the season after that.
But he did overcome one in his rookie year, and he was a sensational player for the brief time he was on the field last year. But now it's twice as hard. Now he's got two of these injuries early.
I'm hoping it is because they could use
A dynamic linebacker.
They could use
a dynamic player.
linebacker.
And the thing about it is you only really have one special player on defense, and two, I guess, with Bland. But Trayvon Diggs won't be ready for the start of the season either. And so outside of Micah and outside of Bland, who's had an injury marred season last year, you don't have any.
I'm not even putting Bland over there yet because Bland has had one good one. I mean, one great one, one historical one.
Right.
One,
Okay, but again, we're all in the same boat. But my point is, you don't have a lot of special players on defense.
That is correct.
And they need special players on defense. If you trying to keep up with the Eagles and everybody else and try to really get over that 30-year hump, you need more than Mike. I don't care how much you pay Mike, and they're going to pay Mike at some point. But it's just like paying Dak. Dak needs help, Micah needs help.
So let me ask this question.
Please do.
Since you're saying, they feel good about him, put a marketing campaign. How does that?
I'm just connecting the dots. I'm saying, to me, because you don't really do a marketing campaign for jerseys switches.
But you're more trusted, so I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, just based on my intel, based on my history, based on when you put two and two together, it seemed like those
Now your
dots are
reputation
connecting.
is based on this right here.
Yeah.
So, proceed.
They feel good about it.
Would that prohibit them from using, let's say, a first, second, or third round pick on a linebacker?
I don't think that they're not taking a linebacker with a first round pick. I mean, I think Michael Parsons was special, but if you look at
Their
just
history.
like the history, or the history of linebacker, and we're talking about a off the ball inside linebacker, not a
edge
rushing linebacker. Okay, so they're not taking an inside.
But that's
off
been
the
a
ball.
prominent position for their defensive coordinator.
It has, but you're not taking one with the 12th overall pick.
Okay, so
You're not doing that 12th overall for sure.
I just said first, second.
Not sure there is one anybody would take.
Yeah,
at the top.
I don't think there's one there. Maybe the third. I just don't see it. I think they have too many needs, and you look at the guys they're bringing in, and you got to read some of the tea leaves about some of the guys they brought in for the 30 visits and stuff like that. They got a lot of running backs. I think they're going to take a running back in the first 2-3 rounds. Certainly, receivers are up there. Some of those guys, offensive linemen, Membo is now one of the top 10 mock guy from Missouri tackle. He's the guy they brought in. Certainly, they brought in a big tackle from Texas to visit. So they're doing their due diligence on guys that are probably going to be there. Certainly with their 12th overall pick. I just don't see an off the ball linebacker.
If they drafted one of them two big tackles, what would they do with the tackle they drafted last year?
Competition, baby. It's all about competition. You can put him right tackle. You can
Right
do whatever
guard?
you can
You
do.
got a right tackle, don't you?
Do you?
I just I mean,
Has he played like one since you paid him?
Plays every snap. Good run blocker.
he's a really
I think
good runner.
I think the bigger problem's the left tackle.
It is, and which is why. And the thing about it is, if most of these guys, these two tackles, if you can also spin them down the guard. Similar to what you did with Zach Martin. Zach Martin was a tackle in college. He spun the guard in the NFL and obviously had a future Hall of Fame career. And you do need a right guard.
So,
But
you thought I was out of line asking about that position last year, I know.
It's the elephant over here, dog. He ain't forgetting nothing.
sure enough.
Sir, you know why you need a right guard?
I thought you said sorry.
No,
Sir, you
no.
said sir.
I said sir.
Either one's pretty good.
Sir, you know why
Yeah,
you need a right guard?
I know why I think.
Because you don't
You know
trust
what?
Hoffman.
Exactly. The guy you was trying to pump up. Hoffman, I'm not trying to go to war with Hoffman. I'm trying to improve that position.
Why you don't like Hoffman? He's a try-hard guy
Exactly.
with a feisty demeanor.
Exactly.
No, you don't like try-hard guys.
No, I like players.
talent.
When we talk about the Eagles, offensive line and how good they were.
Ain't no
What we're
try-hard
talking about
guys over
them
there?
biting and punching out the play and getting people upset. No, we were talking about them road grading people. We were talking about them dirting people. I want somebody that can dirt somebody, road grade somebody that's going to open holes, not get you mad because I'm punching you off the play or getting under your skin.
For the
okay?
record,
That's all I'm saying.
For the record, my question at the time to the then head coach Mike McCarthy was merely comparing Brock Hoffman now to what Zach Martin was at the time.
And my statement,
not Zach Martin when he was an All-Pro.
And my statement was, I'm trying to get an All-Pro like Zach Martin
In his prime.
in his prime.
So, staying on the offensive line
Not a gut
front,
puncher.
I am still one of these people that goes back to what Connor Beebe was at Kansas State.
He had a good rookie year.
But I'm saying he was an All-American guard.
But he was always projected to go center. He talked about that while he was starting to guard at Kansas State, he was taking snaps after practice at center. They always projected him to be a center in the NFL. Yes, he was a great guard in college. But they projected to be center, just like Zach Martin, great tackle in college, projected to be guard. That happens all the time. Mm-hmm. That doesn't take away from what he did in college.
You don't think it had to do a lot with their need here?
Had to do with their need, of course, but there were times when he could have played tackle. He chose not to go.
But for other teams, he might have been a guard. Here, they needed him to be a
You're talking about Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper Beebe.
Well, I'm just saying, though, that he, even before the Cowboys picked him, was working at center because scouts and his coaches told him, you will probably be a guard in NFL. I mean, a center in NFL. So he was already preparing to make the move.
Right. It's the Andre Gerard.
Yeah, you was already preparing to make the move.
Where you had him at a guard and a center. And I always thought Andre was an outstanding center.
He was.
Which eventually was. But he was mainly a guard at Colorado. And then when he had to spend some time at center there. Mm-hmm. But I think about Cooper Beebe in terms of, especially with this old offensive line coach from Kansas State now being here, would they be better served to put him at guard and then go get another center, which is probably your ability to get one of the top two centers in the draft? You probably can get one of those guys.
In the later rounds.
Right, in later rounds.
So I'm glad
I asked him about that here.
I'm glad you asked that question because we've asked Shotty that several times. I know you asked offensive line coach that several times, but I asked Shotty that again at the owners' meeting last week when I was absent from the show. He said they prefer to keep BB at center. That's their preference. That's what they want to do. That's what they're going to try to do. Now, obviously, the goal is to put the best five on the field, which is why if you draft a tackle and he's better at guard and Tyler Guyton, you can do that. So, obviously, you can do that same thing at center. But the focus, even with his Kansas State offensive line coach here, is to keep BB
Or at least
center.
that's what he wants everybody in the league to believe. We're not looking for a center.
And as of right,
that's what he should be saying.
You're not going to be playing cat and mouse with a damn center in the middle rounds, okay? Because you're not taking one in the first round, so you don't have to be cloak and dagger with a damn center in the middle rounds.
You don't think they try to conceal their plans in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounds all the way through?
For a damn center in the middle round.
You can still lose a player you want.
They have so many needs. They're not. Hopefully, they're picking the best player available, and they're not targeting guys already when you don't know who's going to be on the board in the middle round. And hopefully, you're going to pick the best based on your need, but you're going to pick the best player available. You're not targeting a guy in the third or fourth round weeks before the draft.
So
that's how you get in trouble.
They're targeting guys whose jerseys they can sell in the pro.
That's how you get in trouble. Okay, pick the best player. That's how you get. That's how you get Mozzie Smith. That's how you get Taco Charlton over T.J. Watt.
I understand what Shotty is saying in.
I don't want to go by what the man says.
Early April. Okay. Right. But as someone once told me, sports is fluid. And all of a sudden you sit up here on draft board, draft day, and you just, hey,
the best player is a center. The guy's a good center. He might be better than BB at center. Let's move BB to guard play.
Or BB might be better than the guard that we have.
No, they can play option quarterback. There's no question about that. But I don't think they've been consistent. That's not their focus. Well before, they've been when the offensive line coach came here. We've talked to Shotty about this. They've been, and we talk. And listen, I hear you, but we talk off the record too. We have talk conversations. Sure. That we don't want to. They've never even intimated. No one has intimated that they want to do that. Okay. Obviously, they will do what they have to do to put the best five on the field. Because the trenches are important. He talked about fixing the trenches and fixing the line on both sides of the line, and you want your best five out there. But that is in no conversation on or off the record have they even hinted that that's what they're inclined to.
Would you be surprised if they took an offensive lineman in the first round?
Yes.
I would be surprised just because you've taken linemen in the first round each of the last 3 drafts. But the fact that they got Mimbo coming in, I think the Cowboys are doing their due diligence so they can take the best player
Just in
available.
case he winds up being the best player on board.
I think they're doing
your
their
pick
due
comes
diligence. But I don't think that's what they want to do. I think, again, as we talked about this whole off season, and you're trying to sell jerseys from a guy that's injured, I think you can get more mileage out of a skill position player. And Shadi
they need it.
Yeah, and they need it. And they need a help for CD. And Shadi talked about, when he talked about guys he wanted a 12th overall pick, he talked about building from the outside in, corners.
Which contradicts his, we want to be physical and win both sides of the line of scrimmage.
But you do want to do that. But he said when you're talking about premium picks and special guys, when you look for that special pick and you hope you're not up here next year, he wants a corner. He wants guys that affect the quarterback. He wants guys that score touchdowns, the guys that play one-on-one, like a left tackle, like an end, like a cornerback, like a receiver or a quarterback. Those are positions he volunteered.
So just ending this thing on the offensive line, I come back into this. They basically told us last year after drafting Tyler Guyton that they understood this was going to take some time. And if you draft a offensive tackle high, then
Time is up.
that's my next one. Then what is
what did Jerry say at the end of last season? The biggest mistake he thinks he made was overestimating what it would mean to play 2 rookies on the offensive line.
Sure, so now he's trying to change his tune that they believe in Guyton, and we'll see. But the problem with
He's selling his jersey.
The problem with the Cowboys is that, especially with draft picks, is they don't want to be wrong. If you have to admit you're wrong on the first round pick. Same with they're not ready. Are they ready to admit they made a mistake?
Here's why they need to get a difference maker on offense in the first round, and maybe in the first 2 rounds. Maybe a wide receiver and a running back is the best pairing, because last year they averaged 20.6 points per game. That's the fewest since 2015, which means the entire Dak Prescott era. Now, I understand part of that was because Dak missed half the season. But they went from being second in the NFL in scoring margin at plus 194 to 26 at minus 118. That 312-point drop, the 3rd biggest in NFL history, according to Elias. That's why they need explosive playmakers and a healthy quarterback.
When we come back, let's dive into the healthy quarterback and dive into Joe Milton, who is now in the quarterback room.
Overthrow Joe.
And you do the
that's what SEC said. That's people at SEC. Some people call him Bazooka Joe because he got a cannon.
Always count on you to bring the dirty work.
No,
Micah Parsons is a sad man. We'll tell you why Mike is sad. We'll see if he's still in that sadness state with Clarence Hill, Ed Werder, Jacques Taylor, I'm Newy Scruggs. It's the Media Mash on DallasCowboys.com.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise, the Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, sponsored by nobody. Jock Taylor, Ed Werder, he got
just dirty. That's nasty work, Newy.
It's just truth. I didn't lie.
I hear something coming down the pike, though. I hear something coming down the pike.
Sponsor?
Another jersey?
I hear some people coming down the pike.
Well,
I had a little intel before the show.
Another jersey in production?
With the man that pulls all the strings.
Now,
the real man that pulls all the strings.
Now that you're a cat owner, we might be able to get us a little sponsor. Some Friskies.
I don't own a cat. My daughter owns a cat.
Then you
in
own
your
a cat.
house.
No, the cat's in her room, in her bathroom.
Is it in your house?
For now.
Is it in your house?
Are you paying for his food? This your cat.
I got a broke best friend just moved back in with me. How about that?
And a cat.
He broke too.
What's your news?
We got news?
That's what you said.
No, I guess we're talking about Dak. And,
yes.
We got Bazooka Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. That's the SEC thing. College football rivals will never die, and people at SEC used to call him Overthrow Joe because the dude can throw the ball a country mile. And from the South, from a small town, country mile. And you saw that in New England last year, and he certainly has a cannon for the arm. And one thing you talk about him and his upside, the Cowboys made a trade last week for Joe Milton. They needed a backup quarterback. Certainly that's something that Steven and Shadi talked about it. The owners, being Jerry, talked about them making moves for a backup quarterback. I knew they did not want to spend draft capital on one, certainly one in the first, second, or third rounds.
Yet there are people who still think they're going to draft a quarterback even after making this move, which makes no sense.
Yeah, if they do, it's going to be late rounds. But they weren't going to do it in the first 2 days. And there's no quarterback that could get, even after the first round, who they felt could help them be a backup this year. So they let Cooper Rush go and win games for them this year if something happens to Dak. Better than Joe Milton,
right?
And you stack him up against the draft class and what you're going to get.
And Will Greer.
And I think, and Will Greer. And the thing about Joe Milton, he has 3 years left on his contract. He had control over that, and it's only $3 million. Cooper Rush signed with Baltimore for $4 million a year. The Cowboys felt that was too high considering what they were paying Dak, and they didn't want to spend that type of money on a backup quarterback. But they did want someone with some upside, like a Trey Lance, and who they could develop to be a backup for Dak Prescott. Again, people out there, don't be a casual. This is not a threat to Dak Prescott.
But they said he was traded because he was a threat to Drake Mays.
He thought he was a threat.
He thought he was Drake Mays.
He thought he should be playing instead of the guy the Patriots took, third overall?
Two different organizations,
fourth?
2 different environments, 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different salaries for those quarterbacks. And one is a starter, and one's not a rookie who's still trying to gain confidence.
And two new coaching staff.
Yeah, two different situations.
2 new coaching staffs.
But this is not a threat to Dak Prescott. This is more about them shoring up a hole as the
Well, he's missed games for the last 5 years. He's missed, 25 games?
Yeah, so you need somebody to play.
Right.
But it's not a threat for him as a starter, is all I'm saying. But, yeah, you need somebody to win games because he has history missing games. But the good news regarding Dak as we move on in this conversation is he appears to be healthy and ahead of schedule in his rehab from the torn hamstring that was torn off the bone. We've seen viral videos of him throwing with his receivers the last couple of weeks. Certainly, he looks slim. He looks trim. Certainly, Jake Ferguson called him Slim Reaper, a nickname that KD has. He joked about him, losing 50 pounds or whatever else. But he does look slim. He looks.
Have we ever really thought Dak was out of shape?
No, that's right. He's already worked hard.
So I wouldn't make too much of that either.
No, but his body does look different. So he's
so weight redistribution.
Yeah,
that's because he's going to run again like you want.
Well, and I talked to Shad about that, and he said it's not necessarily him running like Kyler Murray in Arizona. And he said that Kyler really, talking to Clayton Adams, Kyler Murray didn't really want to run a lot, but he did. But the importance is scrambling because their defensive ends are too athletic. The pass rush is too athletic. You have to be able to scramble and make plays. And so you don't need a statue. Now, the game has changed. It's evolved. And so it's not necessarily about zone reads, but you have to be athletic enough and nimble enough to maneuver in the pocket and make plays with your feet.
You have to make the first guy.
When you have to.
Got to make the
You have to do that. And so that's something he believes Dak can do. They're not looking for Mississippi State Dak. but they do need him to be able to make play.
2016 Dak.
Yeah.
Well, he's had a lot of lower body injuries, so I don't know that Dak's coming back between the ankle and the hamstring.
What's he going to be? 32.
I just want you to run straight. I mean,
going into his 10th year.
Remember, Aaron Rodgers was rushing for more yards than him. You don't have to be 20.
Here we go again. This is where the trouble started. When
Joe
you said
Flacco,
to him,
Joe Flacco was rushing for more yards than him. Okay?
Tom Brady, you said, but he was 45.
We just
racial.
need.
Why you gotta make it racial?
I'm talking about older quarterbacks.
You picked three white guys, but
I picked older guys
and
who had more yards rushing than Dak
Prescott. And Dak heard it. And that's the thing is, Dak heard it, listened to it, brought it up at the press conference, and then what happened, Clarence?
He went out there and sprinted down 40 yards and tore that thing off the bone.
But had the Cowboys' longest run of the season in the process.
and that's, again, another problem.
But, hey, I did reach out to somebody I know on the New England staff about Milton and asked what their opinion was of him.
Or was he overthrow?
Overthrow. Because he was trying to overthrow the starter. They said he was big, athletic, huge arm, very confident, thinks he should be the starter.
Had Mace on it.
Not sure about his football IQ.
Breaking into the quarterback room.
Overthrow, Joe. He was trying to overthrow the quarterback. Overthrow the starter.
Not overthrow the receiver.
I like that.
Overthrow the starting quarterback.
I like that. We can see.
We can have some palace intrigue.
I mean, up there in New England, little J6 up there in New England, just overthrowing everything, man.
Taylor?
Got to decertify
we're having this banter and you're just sitting there stone-faced.
Because I don't ever like it when they say the black quarterback got a low football IQ.
Okay, we was talking about the overthrow part.
I know, but I got stuck on that part.
Okay, I'm going to say you just stone-faced. We were having a good time, feeling good about this banter.
I mean, that's just me, man. Because that's hey, man. Somebody can't be. Everybody can't be at the party. Somebody got to step off.
They didn't say Dak had low football IQ.
No, they just. I mean, hey, that's just me, man. Because my immediate example is always okay. I need some examples of this. That is low football IQ because it's too easy to blanket it to say black quarterbacks got the low football IQ.
Overall, the football world liked the trade of Joe Milton.
Yeah. I think
they thought the Cowboys,
because they effectively moved 41 spots down to get a guy who's a viable backup and maybe a potential starter later in his career.
Right.
Got to win in the league.
Right. And overall,
impressive in the one game he did start.
Overall, what the Cowboys have done in the offseason, they've done decent football moves. They don't have any special players, but they've done things. Unlike last year where they did nothing. They've done things to shore up position. And you look at a lot of the guys, including the quarterback, most of the guys, they're gambling on upside. They're gambling on them getting better in Dallas than they were where they were like Peyton Turner, the former first-round pick defensive end, okay? Kyle Elam, the former first-round pick cornerback. They're gambling on them being better in Dallas, in a different environment, being better here. And they didn't give up a lot, so I know you're finna say, but they didn't give up.
You don't know what I'm finna say.
Okay, but they didn't give up a lot for him.
Can I get somebody that ain't a bleeping gambler? Can I just get some dudes that can play?
Again,
I didn't even say big money.
There's not a lot of investment in these guys.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of expectations.
But they have a lot of potential. I'm just saying, though.
Potential is a French word for you ain't done a damn.
You wanted him to talk, and now you're talking over him.
I know. Because I see that. I know him. I started looking in his eyes. I know you're finna go negative. I'm just trying to get him out.
I'm not negative.
Because he wouldn't let me. He was cutting his eyes at me before I was talking.
Do you get credit? You get credit for watching your kids? No, because of yours. You ain't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. You ain't get credit for trying to sign some guys.
We didn't have this last week.
Five former first-round picks?
They're 5 former first-round picks. So there's something you're basing it on. All I'm saying is there's the consistency, the uniformity. Most of the guys are former first-round picks. A lot of the guys are guys that they scouted in the draft, who they like from draft, and they're going back on their draft scouting report. And some of the guys that they've had before. Clayton Adams had Paris Campbell in Indy. Okay, so that's a familiarity.
He didn't get none out of him in Indy.
He did. He was very productive in Indy. He just hasn't been productive since Indy. He was productive in Indy. Look at the numbers.
I think it'd be better if you went and traded for first-round picks who were accomplished and lived up to expectations.
That means you got to spend money.
Okay.
What they saving the money for? Have we figured that out yet?
Jerry said that most things in his life, things he overspent for. He's ready to overspend for Michael Parsons because most of the things in life he overspent for. He also said that there was nothing in his life that he wanted that he couldn't get.
when you talk about
I'm gonna leave that alone.
these first round picks, you talk about
why you move on from that so quickly?
No, I'm going back to what you said.
Let Newy host.
Your philosophy, what they've done here. I saw a team try this in the collegiate level a couple years ago, and they decided to go get 3 guys who were high school All-Americans from Nick Saban.
Why are you talking about TCU, man?
And
Say
Nick
about TCU.
Nick Saban,
they was bad at
cast them off.
They was bad.
And they
You can have these 3.
They was
thank
bad.
you. They got well, well, and you know what? At the end of the day,
they couldn't play. They was KP.
as Mickey always talks about, well, why the last group, Mickey Spagnola? Why did the last group
We
guys?
quoting him up around here.
I'm doing everything. I'm bringing it all home.
Why the
and
what?
So so you're sitting here buying into what they're saying.
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
It don't sound like it. That's why I cut my
I
eyes.
said,
You got a glass of Kool-Aid here.
I said,
Do you drink
there
it or
was-
not?
I said there was consistency, some uniqueness, some things about all of them that you could put in a group together.
You were explaining their rationale.
That's all I was doing. I said they're gambling on ups. I said gambling.
It's very rare that Ed support
Ed, did I not say gambling on upside?
It's very rare that he needs me
Yes, I said gambling on upside. I said
or
I'm looking-
recognizes he needs me.
Yeah.
I said they were gambling on upside. That's all I was saying.
You said they were more active than they were last year.
They were. Because they signed more players. They didn't sign
done
nobody
something.
before the draft. They signed one guy
Give them
before the
credit
draft.
for doing something.
Yes, and that's
last
all.
year they just let guys
And I said,
leave.
and among the guys,
look
they
at the
signed-
bar we've gone from.
And I said I ain't giving them credit for
did
just doing
nothing
something.
to now we're gonna sit around here. You didn't make it, but we're gonna give you.
But it used to be, hey, let's go get Dion from the 49ers.
Right.
Listen,
Let's go get Thomas Everett from the Steelers.
It's 2 o'clock at the club, and you're just trying to get something.
No, I'm on.
Oh boy.
10-2, 2-10. Anyway, I'm on the record saying
You
that
used to be good.
I'm on the record saying I don't know that they're appreciably better talent-wise now than they were at the end of the season.
Okay.
Well, let's just.
I don't know that they're appreciably better.
let's just go
and so
around the
I'm
table.
saying that
That'd be like the Ravens trading for Mozzie Smith and saying, oh, he's a first-round pick with the Cowboys. I mean, he's got to be a good
Do
player.
you think that they're appreciably better than they were at the end of the year?
No, but I don't know that they're better, but at least they didn't take the same failed approach that they did last
that's
year,
what
where
I
they
just
merely let guys leave and didn't replace them and relied
give them-
entirely on the draft. The draft is going to determine
Okay, I'll
whether
buy
they
some of
close the
that.
That's
gap
all I was
between
saying.
themselves and
But y'all-
Washington and Philly.
Y'all giving
And it's a
C's-
big gap.
Y'all giving C's. I'm giving incompletes.
Daniel Jeremiah is a pretty well respected draft analyst.
Let me hear what he said.
He said there's not a lot of superstar players in this draft.
it's not a special draft.
But you can get 3 or 4 quality starting players, and that's what the Cowboys need to do.
yeah.
They need 3 of them.
Yeah, that's what and he's right. So because of what they did, and I was trying to say that they can draft true and get the best player available and not focus on a position because they have a need, because they needed to show up.
They do have needs.
And they need a running back, but they don't have to
They
do
need
that.
a wide receiver.
And and the odds are if you don't get a wide receiver
They need a
early,
corner.
if you don't get a wide receiver early, you're not going to get one that's going to be a possible number 2.
So
That's why I see him taking a wide receiver in the first round.
let's tie this segment back into the quarterbacks here. Is the quarterback room better now than it was at the end of the year, Jacques?
That's a great question. I say yeah.
With Dak healthy and back?
I was
Talk
really
about there's 3 quarterbacks in the room. You're gonna have 2.
I'm going to say no,
Okay.
because Dak's missed a lot of time, and Cooper Rush has proven that he can at least go 500 and hold things down till Dak gets back if he has an injury that he's able to overcome in the course of a season. And, I mean, Trey Lance still gave you a guy who you thought had the promise that Milton has. So I think no.
I would say yes because of Dak. Dak is back, ready to go. They believe he's ready to go. He believes he's ready to go. Dak.
But we're not talking about Dak. We're talking about the other 2 guys.
And I don't think the other 2 guys matter. I think
They do matter.
I said I don't think.
Well,
my opinion. My opinion.
Last year, Cooper Rush started more games and won more games than Dak.
That's fine. And
so you can't say that position doesn't matter.
And he just signed for $4 million, and the Cowboys didn't want to bring him back because they thought $1 million more was too much for him. So the value of him.
And they never make mistakes.
Nobody else across the league was trying to make him their starter and give him a whole lot of money to be their backup. That's all I'm saying. And so we can evaluate the quarterback.
One of the best teams in football took him as their backup to a 2-time league MVP.
They gave him $4 million. I'm saying that we can evaluate the player, and the player is what he is. Nobody's going to make him their starter. Now, one of the 32 teams are going to consider making him their starter. Certainly, Baltimore made him their backup at $4 million, which is low backup money. So again, Dak, my opinion, because he asked the question, all he would each person. You had a chance to talk.
Team that goes to the playoffs every year, has a two-time MVP
You had a chance to
quarterback.
talk.
This is not CNN, guys.
You had a chance to
Not
talk.
CNN. Go take a
You
break.
had a chance to
Go
talk.
take a break.
I had a chance. My answer is they're better with Dak Prescott and whoever behind him.
Thank you, Clarence. We're going to take a break, come back. Is Micah Parsons okay? He had an emotional time over the weekend. We'll explain it next. With
Come home, brother.
Hill, Ed Werder, Jack Taylor. It's the Media Mash. I'm Newy Scruggs on DallasCowboys.com.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, sponsored by no one.
We were supposed to be done by now.
No, we had a late start.
Yeah, let's get to going. The tollway's backing up, baby. Let's go.
Everybody's going to be watching the Mavericks and Luka tonight. You going to be in the house?
No, man, I don't need to subject myself to that foolishness.
You don't want one of those cool T-shirts?
No way. You're going to be representing NBC5 at the arena tonight, the AAC.
I'll let Donnie get this.
Donnie, positive.
Can positive Pat make something out of this?
This is when you need positive Pat on the case.
Is he predicting a Mavs win?
I don't know.
No, trust me, he is.
But there's
what are you saying?
To know, first off, it's the Lakers coming to town. And we know there's a big, strong contingent of Dallas Laker fans.
Yeah, all in
Fake show, baby. Fake show.
There's a lot of people there, and to see some folks, I even responded to somebody on social media before I came in here. I said, "You cheering for Luka? This is Mav fans cheering for Luka. You cheering against your own team. This is you drinking poison, hoping they die. It makes no sense.
I can't do it.
I mean, I don't get it. You can be mad at Nico Harrison, the GM, and want to fire him all day, but why do you want to go out there today and cheer against your own team?
And cheering for the Lakers. You're cheering for Luka, but you're also cheering for the Lakers. And I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't cut for it.
I don't.
You don't want that to happen. Maybe you shouldn't have traded a generational superstar to one of your conference rivals.
No, that's a point. Be mad at Luka. Be mad at Nico. Don't cheer for the Lakers.
You don't have to cheer for the Lakers. You can just hope for good things for Luka.
I mean, I watched this happen in Cleveland when Bill Belichick let go of Bernie Kosar. You had Browns fans actively cheering against their own team.
Oh yeah, we saw him come down here, man.
They were all mad. Yeah,
Big Bird.
when the Cowboys went to the Super Bowl, they had Cleveland folk. They sent media to Atlanta to cover the games because Bernie going to win a championship.
Because Aikman suffered a concussion.
He won one like Rodney Peete and Randy Cunningham as backups.
I was just very surprised. Like, this is what you're gonna do? I mean, you can hate the move all day long, but to actively get out here and cheer against your own team, drinking poison.
Because it seems like if you're cheering for the Mavericks, you're supporting Nico.
No.
Yeah.
Well, so if you're cheering for the Cowboys, you're supporting Jerry and everything he does.
Oh,
and
this is a unique circumstance.
But that's really what
that's talking about. In general, the fans would cheer for the Mavs.
No, but that's the conundrum a lot of Cowboy fans find themselves in because they're mad at Jerry, they're mad at his moves. They still spend money at the stadium.
They buy the Agent Zero jerseys.
They buy the jerseys. They're spending the seats. You're putting money in Jerry's pocket, even though you're mad at the product for the last 30 years. That's the conundrum they've been in.
This is different.
I know it's different. This specific
it's the
case,
same, but
it's the same family, and you're essentially supporting Jerry. You made Jerry a billionaire over the last 30 years. This organization has valued jumped trifold. Okay, in that time they've won nothing, and so you continue to go to the stadium. You can continue to support. You continue to buy jerseys. You can continue to pay for the popcorn and the parking.
But if they traded Aikman for nothing when he was in his prime and he came back as a Giant, I could certainly understand fans here cheering for Aikman.
No, I agree. I'm not talking about the cheering part. I'm talking about when you continue to put money into the Cowboys, you're tacitly supporting the moves Jerry's making. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Am I right or wrong?
I don't think it's the same situation.
You're tacitly supporting them.
I'm letting you have your point.
I'm asking, do you agree or not agree? Or am I right or wrong? Jack Taylor.
I'm ready to get back to the football talk.
This is not football? Supporting Jerry?
We took an exit ramp and we stayed too far on the exit ramp.
Micah Parsons.
We're going to talk about Sadiq Charles?
We went past the Stuckies.
Yes. Let's go with the breaking news here. Most trusted.
The Cowboys have signed guard, one-year deal with offensive guard Sadiq Charles, who signed a one-year deal. He's only 25, so he's a young guy. Signed a one-year deal with the Tennessee Titans last March.
A lot of potential.
And unexpectedly retired.
Your first-round pick?
Unexpectedly retired in training camp.
Unexpectedly retired.
Darren Benson.
Before he retired.
What does that tell you?
He was supposed to be the starting right guard for the Tennessee. He's lined up, and he was a fourth-round pick of the Washington Commanders at LSU. Played 4 seasons in Washington, starting 35 games at left and right guard. So, again, a competition for our guy, Brock Hoffman.
Drink that Kool-Aid.
I'm just stating the facts.
Okay, hey, look. The more and more I hear, the more and more, and considering there's Austin Richards at tackle, I don't see them taking an offensive lineman here.
Now they're loading up on the guys with potential.
Yeah, they're loading on guys at guard. You know, you look at the guy, they got the Robert Jones from Miami, now they got Sadiq Charles. They're trying to create competition inside of Brock Hoffman to what? Keep Cooper Beebe.
Sound like the skinniest fat guy to me.
Okay. Micah Parsons, over the weekend.
Come home, brother.
Decided to tweet about how devastating it was for him as a Duke basketball fan to watch them lose. And
this is a North Carolina agenda here. Newy's a noted North Carolina fan. He hates everything about Duke.
Basketball team.
He hates Duke fans, and so any misery Duke fans have, he delights in.
I think the Duke basketball program was equally upset when the Cowboys lost at home to the Packers in the playoffs.
I don't think so.
Yes, but he takes delight in the misery of Duke fans.
I think he was pumping up Kelvin Sampson in the UNC Pembroke connection.
Hey, look,
that's a different conversation.
The Final Four was beautiful to me to watch. Auburn and Bruce Pearl lose, and Duke.
See, Duke.
Both of them. Both can't stand either one.
See,
happy.
It's about
this truth come out now.
But this is about Micah.
Yeah, why is Micah upset?
Micah was devastated.
Because Mike's a Duke fan, and that's why.
Why is he a Duke fan?
I know he's always says he's been a lifelong Duke fan.
Why?
Because they were good the whole time he was growing up.
Because he liked Duke.
Why are people around the world Cowboys fans?
Why people like
the
Yankees?
90s?
Why people like the Celtics? Reason. I don't know why people like the Lakers.
I've never been a bandwagon.
They're a dynasty.
People like Celtics. They like bandwagon. That people like that. But that's how he is. He's a Duke fan. And what did he tweet?
I can't believe didn't answer the question.
Can you get to the tweet?
He said it's going to take him a while to get over this loss. It's devastating. One of the most devastating losses he's ever seen.
And you said what? You compared that to what? What are you saying? Sound like you're ready to take a gut punch.
No. his responses, people started posting the scores from the Packers loss. People went after him. I didn't do that.
People are mean.
I didn't. I just posted I was empathetic. I posted the tissue gif. They just hand you the tissue box. Okay? Because the man was hurting. I didn't want to see that man hurt like that.
Listen. Sometimes what you shouldn't tweet everything you think because it can it can backfire on you. And when you say that that's one of the worst losses you've had, and you've had some horrible losses, playoff losses with the Cowboys, it just comes across wrong.
That's part of my.
It comes across wrong to Cowboy fans and the fans who will watch you play and are disappointed by the playoff production. So it comes across wrong. That cannot be. You didn't tweet that type of hurt.
He didn't
after
take
Green
into
Bay.
consideration how petty everybody in the world.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
people are just.
That's right. It comes across long.
People are just 7-letter cuss words.
Yes, and so I'm thinking when Newy's going to bring up Micah tweets, I thought he was going to bring up the tweet today when he talked about going bald headed for 2025.
Yeah.
And they started posting the pictures of him bald-headed.
Come on,
bald,
bro.
He'll look just like this guy, right?
He'll look like that guy right there.
You going to join him?
Clean. Mr. Clean.
Are you going to
Mr. Clean, I'm not joining him. I'm keeping my TWA.
If he gets the guest on the pod, he might do it.
He got a TWA with a hole in the roof.
You should. You know what?
He got a hole in the roof.
I'm going to send him a note
Texas
to Michael.
Stadium over there.
I think they both could do it together. Go on the podcast and both take it off.
Michael
Go home together. Just go home together.
The real story with Micah is when he and his agent going to sit down with Jerry Jones and get this deal done, okay? As we reported last week, Jerry and Micah have a handshake deal on a record-breaking contract that's the richest non-quarterback contract in football.
Can it be a handshake deal if your agent ain't peeped it?
Yeah, because it's a handshake between those two. And Jerry said, I'm paying writing the check, and Micah's paying football. I don't need the agent. Well, to get the deal done, to get it across the goal line, they need to talk to the agent. And Jerry does not do any business deals without consulting counsel. Micah needs to consult counsel.
And he will.
And I don't think this is a situation where a lot of people like Jerry is, sometimes they talk to the player to do an end run and get a team-friendly deal. From my understanding, talking to people that are familiar with the contract, and what they talked about, it is not a Tyron Smith deal where it's low budget, low ball. It's not even market.
You think that handshake deal is going to stand up if T.J. Watt signs a deal that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in football?
I mean, it depends on when they sign. And obviously that's why you go get your agent. But if they do it now, and I don't think, from my understanding,
they're not doing it now.
What my understanding is, they're not waiting on T.J. Watt. They've seen the numbers.
Well, but Jerry's already said he wants to see certain things
More
from
cards flipped.
Micah first. He wants to see that he's not just posturing with being a leader. It's not just part of his negotiating tactic. He wants to see him do it.
Jerry's the one who shook hands with Micah on the terms. I'm just saying, he's the one who shook hands with Micah on the terms.
I'm just looking for the deal.
The deal is because they have not talked to the agent. The agent will be, Micah asked them to call his agent.
They've had a week.
They have not done. Well, he asked him before that. My point is, Jerry is posturing with, I need to see something more. No, he's already decided I want to pay him this type of money. Okay?
No,
he's already decided.
He knows he's going to have to pay him this money because he let it get to where it is.
Knows he has decided, is come to terms with, however you want to look at it, he's going to pay a certain amount for Micah Parsons. And they all want him here for OTAs and minicamp and all that stuff. I think it's going to get done before training camp. I don't know when it's going to get done. Knowing Jerry, hey, he might try to upstage the draft to get it done during draft weekend.
That would be on point.
What would it be?
I think they say you can't do business during that.
They do business all the time. They make trades. They do a lot of stuff during draft weekend.
Not that Jerry would care about that because Jerry's his own man.
You gonna sue him?
Parting shot here, parting thought at all, Jacques, as we leave the podcast here.
Yeah, brother, come home, Micah. It's all good, baby. You too, dog.
Jock and I had dinner at Winston Prime last night, a nice little new steakhouse, little restaurant in downtown Dallas, in Trinity Groves area. It was good times.
Who paid?
It was free.
There we go.
Free drinks.
That's all I wanted to hear.
It was like the grand opening.
You knew this.
What about us?
But you knew.
Where was our invite?
It was last minute.
Last minute.
It was last minute.
It was last minute.
Last night?
Yeah.
That was free. Ed, final thought?
I'm not ever eating with these two again.
Well, I'll see you, Mike, Friday night.
What?
I'll see you Friday night.
What's Friday night?
The Children's Cancer Fund Gala, Dak and Troy.
Oh, I don't generally go to those things.
There you go. It's a beat writer thing, Dad. Got to go to those things. Got to go to those things.
I heard somebody's hiring a beat writer.
You've been going 2 weeks.
Somebody's hired a beat writer, huh?
Yeah, Dallas Morning
Been
News
going 2
hiring a
weeks.
beat
Final
writer.
thought.
Hey, man, I missed you guys. I gave y'all some information to talk about last week, but I missed you guys, and I'm glad I'm back. Media Mash. I enjoy this time.
Clarence Hill, Ed Werder, Jacques Taylor, I'm Newy Scruggs for Chris Beam, Jazz, Josh, everybody a part of it right here, DallasCowboys.com. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!